So before we start the webinar today, I would like to understand from the participants. Today in the webinar, we've got many participants joining from various paths, and we would like to understand from you, where are you joining from and what exactly is your background? So please put in the chat, where are you joining from and what is your background? We'll be happy to hear from you. Please put in your location and background in the chat. And we've got today 24 people who have joined in. We've got registration more than 30 plus. We will be expecting sooner the other people to also join in for today's webinar. Please put in your location and background. Gudu Kumar, who has joined us from Guwahati. Welcome, Gudu. Kalpana from Bangalore. She is from Ionis Pharma. Welcome, Kalpana. Arun from Hyderabad, sales. Surya is from our team. Ajay, who's joined from Ahmedabad, product manager. Welcome, Ajay. So please put in your introduction. We'll be happy to know you better. Sohail from Mumbai, and he's from Sun Pharma product manager. Welcome, Sohail. Please put in your introduction so that we can proceed with the webinar. Okay. So all the participants who have joined us today, a warm welcome and thank you so much for joining in today. And with this, these are the 5 benefits which we would like to deliver today in today's webinar. And this is something which is very interesting because you will be getting actionable insights. So we are talking about practical step-by-step methods in which how you as pharma marketeers can use data to make smarter decisions. The second benefit is basically resources, how to define strategies and optimize your budget so that you best use your particular data. So the topic itself talk about data farming, and here compliance plays a very important role because of the DPDP regulations, data privacy, data protection policies which are coming into picture. We will be also talking about how to be cautious about using the same coming into UCPMP guidelines. So also talking about how we can use this particular data for strengthening our relationship with the key stakeholders in the pharma, which is doctors, chemists, and patients. We have also talked about technologies which can use for understanding data. For the people who are there with us today, end of the webinar, we will be also giving you an ebook, which will be sent to you on your inbox by Wednesday, and which is 29th. And this will be sent to you, which consists of the entire learnings, which we will be having from today's webinar. And we'll be having a chance of winning 2 contests. The 2 contests will be organized in between, and this will be based on the conversations which we are going to have today with our key speaker. So there are chances for 2 winners to win Amazon gift voucher. Right. With that, we would like to start the today's webinar. And this is a little introduction about me. I am Ashish from Hyderabad. I am passionate about cycling, dancing, and reading. I have done my MBA Marketing Communication from Symbiosis Institute of Business Management in 2004. I have transitioned from being an employee to an employer, worked in IT and telecom sector. I have been recognized with Business World 40 Under 40 Healthcare in 2021. I started off Medgini in 2012 and turned it to be profitable. I stay with my parents, with my wife, and 2 sons in Hyderabad. So this is a small world, and I have a rich experience working with pharma marketeers while I am serving at Medgini as a founder and the CEO. So this is a little about me, and I am totally excited to introduce our key speaker. A key speaker for today's webinar is Mr. Jasmeet Singh. We are thrilled to have Jasmeet Singh as our speaker today. Jasmeet was recognized as the best CMO for experiential marketing by WOW Asia Awards 2023, a testament of his exceptional work in the industry. He is the Deputy General Manager, Cardiovascular Division at Lupin. He heads the marketing strategies for 1,700 crore cardiology business with 14 years of experience. Jasmeet has made a significant impact with his innovative ideas and smart marketing strategies. Some of his remarkable achievement includes building popular brands like Cracer for hypertension and Biovac A for hepatitis A, launching India's first reward-based loyalty program for patients, support program, developed and developing advanced marketing frameworks during pandemic while he was serving with Dr. Reddy Labs. Jasmeet is passionate about using data and creativity to drive success in pharma marketing. We are excited to hear his insights and learn from his experience today. Let's all welcome Mr. Jasmeet Singh. Jasmeet Singh, thank you so much for joining in today for our webinar as a key speaker.
Thanks, Ashish, for hope I'm audible.
Yes, loud and clear, sir.
All right. Thank you so much, Ashish, for giving me an opportunity to interact with the passionate marketeers as well as sales folks. And I think today's discussion I'm sure, will help a lot of, key insights to all of you, uh, which I have with my best of the knowledge and the experience, which I will be going to share with all of you. Hope so. With this, all the learnings which I will be giving to you in this session, I think this will gonna really make some remarkable changes in your daily routine working, the way data is being interpreted. As the It's a very interesting topic, data farming. I think it's a good analogy which Ashish and team has developed on this. So look forward to the interaction for this today's session. So Ashish, let's start. I mean, if you have
Yeah,
further discussion to take it forward.
sure. Thank you, Jasmeet. A warm welcome to you. So, a brief introduction about data farming. So, this particular topic was germinated from our team, where they were talking about there is a lot of data which is coming in the pharma industry from various stakeholders, be it internal as well as external. So, data farming is what we understand is the process of collecting, analyzing, and utilizing data, which can give insights to the marketing and the sales team. It is just like nurturing a crop and which will give you the best results. So it's all about getting the best input, which will give you the best output. So if there is a problem in the input, the output always goes wrong. So in this webinar, we have an intention to give you a valuable insights on how raw data can help you in terms of giving some actionable insights. So data is coming in the organization through various sources, how you can optimize resources and strategies for maximum impact using data. Strengthen your engagement with your stakeholders, be compliant about the regulations, which is UCPMP and other regulations. So the entire discussion, Jasmeet, we have covered in three aspects, which is segmentation, targeting, and positioning. So why segmentation, targeting, positioning? Because that is the core of marketing. And segmentation, we are talking about accurate data and ensuring effective marketing segmentation. Second is targeting. Continuous data will help you overcome targeting challenges. Positioning, how data can help you take a decision and position your products more effectively and efficiently. So with that, we would like to first talk about the segmentation aspect. And on segmentation, we have evolved that segmentation is a process where we are talking about dividing the entire target market into distinct groups using accurate location data and high quality insights. It can be behaviors and it can be customer persona. So the role of data analyst or pharma marketeer is very crucial in interpreting data to form relevant, actionable marketing segments. With that, Jasmeet, with your experience, I would like to ask you the first question on segmentation today, which is about the right soil. As a farmer, there are different soil types, and with the soil types, you are able to get your yield. As a farmer marketeer, if you look this analogy, how do you identify the right soil with regard to location and data sources so that you can enhance your data segmentation strategy? Please give us some insights on the right soil as a pharma marketeer.
So I think the topics which you have curated for today's discussion, Ashish, that is the, I'll say, the soul of a brand success. STP is, we have learned in our MBA days, and right from the whenever we go into the market, or maybe whether we are doing it at a, say, because we have a group of folks who are from sales also. So I would like to put the context for both, for marketeers as well as sales, right?
True.
Because segmentation, targeting, and positioning work as a soul for the entire sales people as well as the marketing folks both. They have a different context altogether, which I will be definitely answering you in this. But understanding, I think segmentation is very crucial as a principle level. What we have to, what we understand, because we have our own definition of segmenting the markets, right? And how we segment the customers. I think the basic thing which which everyone needs to come at one base understanding is that uh, segmenting the customers, which have the similar wants and needs, that are the key segments which we have to create. Now, say for example, if we are into a healthcare background, we need to identify those cohorts, those set of the customers who matches to our needs and the offerings which we are having into our portfolio. That is the principal understanding. Now, analogy which you have put it is absolutely right. Like, say example, if I quoted example, like let's we are into the world of social media, LinkedIn as an example. LinkedIn is purely for high career aspirants social media platform, whereas the Instagram is more for influencers and more for getting the youths population and who are college seekers and students who would like to flaunt themselves with their lifestyles. So it's a clear cut demarcation. So that's how the segmentation been created by the marketeer somewhere in the world, have thought of about LinkedIn, because the career aspirants want to have one. Many platform comes and went in history, like Naukri.com came, and then many job seekers sites came, but they couldn't able to bring the career aspirants at one forum. I think LinkedIn is one forum which has been segmented well for the career aspirants. That is a clear cut example of segmenting the population. Now that globally or India, all the career aspirants are coming at one forum and they are sharing their experience. They are sharing a lot of things, stuffs on LinkedIn. So it has become a institution kind of a thing where people learn from there. Now that's a clear cut example of segmentation to come at a base principle level. Now your question is very valid, and let me just put the context again to that. When you are saying right soil, to identify the right soil, what is right soil we are referring to? We are referring to the right soil which is the right data, right quality data. Now as a farmer, now the entire data farming, when a farmer do a farming, he puts a soil. Why he puts a soil? To harvest a healthy crop, right? What is that healthy crop? Now this analogy how fits into our sales or marketing folks, like we put the right quality data towards the right marketing success, brand success, company success, right? If the right data will not be put in the at the foundational level, the healthy crop cannot be developed over a period of time. Or maybe the healthy brand or a bigger brand cannot be built if the data is itself is wrong, or data interpretation itself is wrong, right? I think that is a fundamental. That is the fundamental. Now if I need to what I have seen in my experience, Ashish, and to my folks, right, we do segmentation. Aisa nahi hai we don't do that, we do that. The right process of segmentation has something, key steps which we most of the time we missed out, sometime in the urgency, or sometime the pressure of the managers like us, right? So so the right process of segmentation is always been missed out. Now what is that process looks like? Though principally we know that we have made the cohorts which have some segmentation, the textbook segmentation, like demographic, geographic, psychographic, and all those we all know, we MBA books mein humne padha hai. But when it comes to the implementation of this at a process level, I think something principal level पे need based हमने already identify कर लिया, we have done that, right? After that what you need to identify and make a cohorts, right? Cohorts, like say for example, if my strength lies, if I am a new launch company, right, I have a more penetration in metros, so maybe one segmentation can be only for the metros customers. One can, if I am a very big company, I don't want to name, but definitely if I am having a field force of maybe 12,000 of company, I have a better penetration in the rural areas as well, right? So my segmentation, one of the segmentation can be rural population only, rural population as well as rural customers also, right? So that is something which we need to identify. And then after that, what is the third step looks like is the attractiveness. Now you have arrived at certain cohorts, right? Metros, non-metros, rural, or maybe demographic, age, gender, male, female, whatever segments, prescriber, non-prescriber, my customer, not customer, बहुत सारे we can make the lot of cohorts, or maybe the segments. But fourth step is the most crucial. You need to identify which is the most attractive segment for you, which will gonna definitely benefit the organization.
which is more profitable to you. And the last step in this is that whether it is matching to my strength of the organization or not, whether I have a right to win there or not. That is something which I have to evaluate in this. And then once we are clear that, okay, I will, as a marketeer, I need to identify, okay, my strength lies in metros. I have a better penetration in metros. I will arrive at, okay, in metros, okay, the institutions, hospitals, trade. Now, in this, where I have my strength, my offering matches to institution, my offering matches to medical colleges, or my offering matches to a trade practitioner. Okay, now my offerings offer matches to the trade practitioner. Now, third is whether this is the most lucrative one, whether it is the most profitable one, whether my offering matches to that or not. So, something to that sort of steps we have to arrive, because you're funneling down. Then you are arriving at a sharp segmentation that, okay, now this is a segment which is most, I feel, as an assumption, I'm feeling that this is the most profitable to my organization. So the fifth step itself is the most, I'll say, the kind of a most important one. Now you have arrived and you have identified and you have drawn your assumption, yeah, this segment will work for me as per my strength and weaknesses of the organization, right? Now the fifth step looks like the asset testing. In our language we call it as a pilot testing. What we do, okay, now I have drawn my assumption, I have done the pre-work, okay, now let's go pan India. Now what does that, if after 6 months you realize that it is not working, your assumptions were wrong, but that's where the fifth step comes in place, your asset testing. Now, asset testing is something which you need to identify a geography where you feel that you have a mix of cohorts of your prescribers, non-prescribers, or your key customers lies. You do asset testing there. If your marketing mix works there, your offering matches to that, and you test it on your multiple segment. If you have created one segment for metro, one segment for non-metro, one segment for rural, or maybe for trade business, you do your offering and asset testing on all the three cohorts, and then you will realize, here my this segment is responding well to my offerings, and then you can do a scale up to all India. I think, Ashish, Joe, what I have observed in the brand planning exercises in my previous stint as well as in current also, I'm observing this crucial step often gets missed out of pilot testing. Now, post that, maybe after 6 months we realize that yaar ye to kaam hi nahi kar raha hai. This is not working. And what happens? You have consumed your 30% or 40% of the promo. Now you are left out with 60% of the promo. Then there's no going back in that. I think the fifth step is there. Of course, the data plays a pivotal role in arriving that. But I think the pilot testing, I've seen that most of the time people missed out in that. So I think this is something, the step following of this has to be a crucial in this. And if I'll support it with the example, Ashish, in the pharma context, we do a lot of segmentation of our doctors as well as patient level. So say, for example, you talked about the reward-based program Jeet in my introduction slide. We did a segmentation. We did a pilot search, research on that. Why patient, hook to one of the platform. The thing which came out that, in all the, patients who come out, who sticks to one platform is something they get out of what is in for me. I'm coming to your platform. What is in for me? How I will be get benefit. All the PSPs, patient support program, offers me, a treatment journey, and they give me multiple offering. But is it something which is keeping me a hook? So Jeet is one that platform, which is a reward based, which was India's first reward based program, which was a replica of a UPI. So if you do some daily tasks, you will get some reward points. That will be, those reward points can be redeemed into some rewards. So that hooked the patient, and that the clear cut segmentation came. Who are tech savvy patient, who are the caretakers, that segmentation of the patient came into that platform. Now, similarly, at a doctor level, we do segmentation, who are our prescribers, who are our non-prescribers, who are our dot prescribers, who are our partial prescribers, who are our metro prescribers, who are our non-metro prescribers. We do a lot of cohorting. We do a lot of, segmentation in pharma industry as well, right? So I think the multi-level segmentation plays a essence, and the, data is the foundation to that. So if you don't have the right soil in place, you cannot expect a healthy crop to come, right? And that is something which is very important. So with this, I think I've tried to answer your question, Ashish.
Perfect. So you have given us the 5 steps or the process with regard to segmentation. And we have also talked about the cohort, how important is the cohort while you are actually defining your data and segmenting your entire data. And very smartly, you have actually talked about what companies have done while they have penetrated in markets like rural markets and how they have really segmented all these things, which have given them more insights in terms of how to position the products properly. So this forms as a base while you are actually entering into the market. So it is like having the raw materials in place so that you then move forward in terms of how to define your next steps with regard to strategy and marketing. So with that, second question is we are talking about resources. So you have the right data in place. Having the right resources is very important for us. In agriculture, we are talking about having the right farmer. So farmer also are of different types and different skill set. Similarly, in pharma marketing, we are talking about how the right resource can help you in terms of analyzing, interpreting, and intercepting that data. So, with that, Jasmeet, I would like to ask you on your experience working across large pharma companies, be it Lupin, Dr. Reddy Labs, how you have actually seen the right skill set is important in terms of analyzing and interpreting, intercepting data, because it's not always possible for companies to outsource this particular portion. So, what kind of skill set you would like to recommend for pharma marketeers or budding people who are there with us today? What kind of skill set is important for us today? Because data is the future. So what skill set do you feel is important?
So interesting question, Ashish, and I would like to first of all put the context when we are talking farmers. It means the group which is sitting in front of us, and I think who is listening to this conversation.
Yeah.
I think we are talking those farmers. Farmers is nothing but the our excellent marketeers as well as the data analysts who are listening to this conversation. Sorry. So. I'll start with one line, Ashish, that value lies in the beholder in this complete conversation. Now, if you see here the data analyst or the marketeers who actually interpret and analyzes the data, there's a in pharma day, in MBA days we learned the three stages of data. One, you get the raw data, then you observe that and you come out of a information out of it. Now information leading to insight, right? That is something, again, a three-step process in this, right? Data leading to information, information leading to insight. Now what is the skill set is required? I think that is something which you have asked for, and that is actually the need of the hour today. Because when we are talking about the young marketeers, I think what with my experience and with my observation, what has came out is a skill set, a skillful marketeer is always passionate about data crunching, data farming. He do lot of data mining. I've seen my own team, in my previous stint in simpler times. I've seen that people go into the deep of the data, and they come out with the pearls out of it. And sometimes you get confused here whether I should pick up this one or whether I should pick up this one. But you don't know, and that's where the fifth step of segmentation come. Do the asset testing on both, and let's see that which responds well, right? Now if on the other side I have seen that there are, I'll not say anything, but I think the unskillful marketeers or the people who don't interpret data well, don't imply the data well, they end up losing the market share. I've seen that. And with that, when you analyze it after 6 months or maybe half a year gone, then you realize, yeah, why this insight or why this data point which we are if you are seeing that in your previous year, your secondary was down by 30%, why this thing didn't came in your brand year planning? Why you are realizing that my secondary was less by 30%? Why my prescription, or at a specialty level my prescriptions were down? So why you are realizing after 6 months from that? So this kind of that there are clear cut of two types of marketeers. One who are deep passionate about, first of all, identifying the right soil, which creates a foundation of the right brand planning, and having a passion to create that brand building. Now another type of marketeers, you will see that, okay, they do a tick mark thing. Okay, it's a yearly exercise, brand planning time has come. Okay, now this is a time, December, January, February, we have to go and do all the Excel work, right? And then we have to come out of one presentation of 60 slides, and that's what the brand plan is all about. And then again at April onwards, you are on the go of visual aid and everything. Now that doesn't work well. I've seen that. It's a continuous exercise. Now, what is the tools and what are the skill set which is required while you are arriving or doing a planning for next year, right? Or maybe uh, right farming definition, if I need to tell you, you need to understand patterns, you need to understand the trends. Ashish, what I've seen in my experience is that people see data in isolation. They see data, say for example, if I need to put the pharma in context, they see prescription data separately, they see primary, secondary, they see secondary, separately, they see market data separately. But if I need to draw a pattern out of it, we see data in isolation, that to a very skewed time, means 1 year data, 2 year data. That doesn't give me any insight. If you see the data at a historical level of 10 years, how my brand has progressed, how my market has progressed in 10 years, over a decade time, and then you will see a graph out of it that something happened in this 2021, why that market gone significantly down, why my brand gone significantly down. That time you will feel, okay, COVID hit in this period, that's why the market got down. Because at a trend level now, 2021 to 2022, that was a year of COVID, but we forget that, right? Now we are seeing the brand plan only for 1 or 2 years, right? At a a marketeer level, we cannot make a strategy at a just seeing 1 year data. We have to identify trends, we have to identify the patterns out of it. We have to understand what is the story behind the data. That is something which is the key line for the skill set which I'm talking for a data analyst or a good marketeer. A marketeer should understand what is the story behind this data, whether this data, what this data means to me, what this data implies to me, why, if my primary and secondary is in place, why my market share is going down. Is the reflection problem in market, or is it something my prescriptions are going down, my specialties are not supporting. So we need to understand that the more you go into the deep of what is the story behind the numbers, right, then you will come to know, then you will identify that this is a pearl hidden here, this is my root cause, which we call it our exercise of brand planning is RCA, root cause analysis, right? That root cause analysis, Ashish, comes from the high deep inciting of the data mining, right? So this is something, a skill set which is required. Of course there are certain skill set which is also required, Ashish. I need to tell on this group, because you have to be master in Excel, you have to be master in numerical numbers, you need to understand how to read the statistical data. Now the more you go into the marketing, the more you will go at a senior level, you will see that a lot of complex slides are coming with a lot of graphs in place. So you have to be a very smart marketeer to interpret that data within few seconds. So that skill set is also required over a period of time. I'm not saying that this will be developed in 1 year of time, but constantly you need to read that data, you need to create your own data, you have to practice that data, and then you need to make a slide out of it. And moreover, say for example, if you will sit with any consultant as a marketeer, you will see that consultant present a lot of complex slides which has a lot of longitudinal data, which has a lot of graphical data, which has a lot of numbers and data out of that. So you need to be this skill is required, that the more you go into the data mining, you will be a good you have to be a very smart marketeer who understand the statistical data interpretation. So this is something, these are the key skills, Ashish, which is required for a good marketeer. And my message that to everyone, right, when you are entering into a brand year planning for next year, don't take this data mining lightly, because this creates the foundation for your next year, next years to come for a successful brand. Because most of the time, Ashish, we have seen that brand managers are understanding or realizing after 6 months, and at that time and half of the promo is gone. That's the end of the story. So that's all. Yeah.
Yeah, so data mining and the importance of data mining before you're actually going for a brand plan is critical, as what Jasmeet is sharing with us today. Jasmeet, you are also skilled and certified with Microsoft Copilot, design thinking, and generative AI. So these are the skill set which you have acquired. And is it so critical to acquire this particular skill set? You have also talked about being a master in Excel, because that is a That is not a core competency, but this is a basic competency which a pharma marketeer should have. So you have also got certified into this advanced technology-based design thinking, generative AI, and Copilot. So is this also something which will also help a pharma marketeer?
So Ashish, of course, you have to go with the trend where the market is or the industry is going. Market dynamics are changing drastically in pharma today, right? So if I see the adoption of technology in other sectors versus pharma, I have seen that pharma is we are very laggard in that. We are very slow in that. But you see the banking sector, the insurance sector, or maybe the other sectors, automobile sector, they have taken this technology to a next level. Of course, these technologies are very important, AI, artificial intelligence. But let me put it very straight: the AI doesn't, overtake HI, which is human intelligence, right? So human intelligence is at the top, right? AI is just a tool which you should know, which definitely is a trending one, and you should know how to utilize it because it has their own issues, it has their own benefits, right? So you should know how to use it better. But the answer to your question is we should know what is trending. We should know what technology is coming. We should know that in Microsoft Edge, if we are using, what is the role of Copilot there and how it can benefit into my context, right? But it has their own issues. So you cannot just take that data from that and don't apply any human intelligence and just use straight it forward, you put it everywhere. It cannot happen. You will feel that you are somewhere, that errors are happening because that's where the human intelligence comes in place.
Perfect. Perfect. So with that, participants, I would like to ask what Jasmeet was asking a while back. Is brand planning a checklist activity? Yes, no, or maybe? So is something which I would like to ask the participants. Many of you are from the pharma marketing as well as sales. Sales team has seen all these things in terms of the campaigns which are being designed by the pharma marketeers after the brand planning. And you are the person who are actually implementing on the field, be it for doctors or for trade partners or for patients. So what, according to you, is brand planning a checklist activity? Yes, no, or maybe? So you do it routinely because it is supposed to be done, or it is something which gives you an insight. Thank you, Kalpana, Binay, Ram, for your inputs. Ajay says empathetic, yes. Amit, okay. So there is a mixed opinions which we are getting. Sohail says that it gives insight. So getting an insight as what Jasmeet is saying, data mining at the start of doing your brand planning is very critical. Otherwise, at the mid of the year, you realize that your direction itself has went really wrong. So with that, I would like to open up a round of contest to the team here. So this is This is a question which is there for all the participants, and you get an opportunity to win a voucher from Amazon, which is 500 rupees, which comes to you in your inbox. And the question is, what is the most critical step in creating effective marketing segmentation in the pharmaceutical industry? So you have four options which is coming your way. You may scan the QR code. If you have any difficulty in scanning the QR code, my team is putting the link in the chat. You can please click on the link, give your response. The person who gives the correct answer and the fastest wins the Amazon voucher. This is your way. If you are done, please put in done in the chat so we know that how many people are actually able to do it. And if you have any issues technically, please, okay, Sohail, you have been the fastest. Let's see if you have answered it correctly. We'll be announcing the winners end of the webinar. The webinar ends by around 12:30. We will also open up questions to our key speaker, Mr. Jasmeet. And if in case you have any questions for Jasmeet with regard to this particular topic or in general from pharma marketing, he is there with us to answer all your doubts. Thank you, Ram. And others, if you are done with participating in the contest, please type in done. And my team will keep this contest for about 2 minutes. Kalpana, Manoj, Binay, thank you so much. So please complete your responses. The link is there in the chat. And with your permission, I would like to move to the second critical step of today's discussion, which is targeting. So data farming, we are talking about a lot of data coming from different sources, and we are talking about targeting using tools to find the valuable market segments by analyzing trends. So as what Jasmeet was talking is data patterns and data trends. So we would like to take the discussion a little deeper in terms of data farming provides ongoing insights to improve your target accuracy. So your target audience may be doctors, trade partners, or patients. So Jasmeet, how do you leverage the data tools to identify the right high potential market segments? Your budgets are limited, be it a large organization or small organization. We are always told to be more effective, efficient on the amount that you are spending towards the marketing, which can give you the maximum impact. So what are the different data tools that pharma marketeer can use to identify high potential market segments? How you have done that in your previous organization or with your current organization? You may have to unmute.
Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think the segmentation, once we complete the segmentation, I think targeting there is a next step to that. And again, there's a little bit of ambiguity, Ashish, which I have observed in the marketeers in my team itself sometimes, that they are not able to differentiate between the segmentation and targeting. Because that's a overlapping terms, right? Because if you see that if my conversation in the previous just few minutes back, I was talking that you need to arrive at metros, non-metros, rural. Target to वहीं करना है ना. So what is the difference between segmentation and targeting, right? I think that is somewhere there's a very thin line difference between segmentation and targeting, and which I think everyone should be aware of. We have identified the segments, right? But it's important, we need to also make a SWOT analysis of our company, of my brand. Now that SWOT analysis will tell you where to target. Where is my right to win? The word is right to win. Where my strong right to win lies, that's where I should be targeting, because that's where the return of your offering will be far better compared to if you will go with a high competing area where your strength is not there, where actually is your weakness. So Ashish, here the role of spray and pray doesn't work. The market has moved from spray and pray to N is equal to 1 approach. And that's where is the targeting. That's where the customization lies, right? Though at a brand level, at a your brand strategy level, you have to create a overarching theme of your brand, but your targeting has to be very customized and very individualized. You have to give them an individualized experience to that level. Say, example, Netflix is for everyone, but what I see is adventure and horror. I love that. So the recommendation comes only for adventure and horror for me. That is targeting. And that is very personalized to me. But Netflix is for everyone. So Netflix in the OTT category is one of the segment. But in the OTT category, targeting Jasmeet for horror and adventure is the targeting, is the example which I want to say, which connects to everyone. And that's where, the difference we have to create, and we need to learn this art. Because most of the time, we made the cohort, okay, we'll go to metros mein we'll go to corporate hospitals mein we'll go to these specialty, and the targeting is done, segmentation is done. But in that corporate hospital, which type of prescribers, which type of doctors, whether they are patient oriented, whether they are cost oriented, what are their prescription habits, these are the targeting of the doctors in a healthcare sector, as I mentioned in the example of Netflix. So you have to create an overarching strategy that I will go in metros and I will target corporate hospital. But in that corporate hospital, your strategy and your targeting has to be very individualized. And that is called targeting. So that is a thin line difference between a segmentation and targeting. And that's, I feel, most of the time we missed out on that. We just make humne bana liya overall, our strategy segmentation look like this. We will be going to target corporate hospital. Baba, corporate hospital mein kya? What? Corporate hospital mein sits many people. Pharmacist is also can be one of the target segment. Your nursing staff can be a target segment, because corporate hospital is a very wide term, very wide segment. Us segment maybe what is the targeting areas? I think that is somewhere we need to understand. Now, how this come? Now, this is our principal level understanding of targeting. You cannot go at a company level. मेरे पास इतना budget भी नहीं होगा. I don't have that much of budget के I will put spray and pray and I will just pray कि यार मतलब something will work for me. No, the world has moved to high complex data sets, to a individualized, customized data churning, and that's what we are discussing today of data farming. And there are many tools available to that. So targeting doesn't encompasses only to a quantitative data. It also encompasses to the qualitative data. So principal level pe I have to be very clear what is the difference between segmentation and targeting. That is point number one. Point number two, if I need to leverage this, what is the tools which are available to me? So say for example, I need to encompass it from quantitative data. So right now, for me as a young marketeer today, I know only Excel is a tool, right? But there are multiple tools available. You can use Tableau, you can use Power BI. You just put that data and you will get a dashboard out of it. At a company level, we are investing, many young marketeers and their marketing heads invest in that, right? So you have to come up with a smarter way of interpreting the data, because targeting cannot come just by hypothesis. You have to churn the data out of it. Everything we are discussing today is linked with the data, quality data. The more you go into the data, you will get a different forms of data, and then your targeting become more sharper. Because if I have a budget of this, I have only 1 crore rupees, I have to be very smart enough where I have to invest 20 lakhs, where I have to invest another 50 lakhs, and rest 30 lakh I have to invest where. So I have to be very smart enough, and I cannot go with a spray and pray approach. I have to be very targeted, and that targeting should come with a sharp analysis of the data. Now, these are the tools, like say, for example, which I told, there are multiple, types of data which we can see. So of course, tools can be Excel, Power BI, or Tableau, but definitely, there are, if I need to cluster the data, so we need to see the clustering of the data, segmenting the data into right cohorts, which I mentioned earlier also. You need to also see the forecasting, where the market is moving in future, right? What are the future trends look like? So I know that, cardiology, there's nothing new is coming, but diabetes is booming up. There are a lot of things happening in weight management. So means future this weight management will become itself a market. So I have to start preparing from today onwards. That is something you need to forecast, and you need to have a thought process to the future trends as well. So forecasting is another thing which you need to always keep in mind for, while planning that what is there in future. Say, for example, if that future trend hits to you after 6 months, then what you will be doing that. So all these things should come into your brand planning exercise. That's what I'm talking about, the SWOT analysis. SWOT analysis mein, the T stands for threats, right? What is coming to me in future? What can hit me in future? So I have to be prepared for that. So second is, regression analysis, which we called it as, right? So regression analysis, most of the people don't do that. But what is regression analysis? It's the grouping your customers based on the demographic, purchasing behavior, as well as the market conditions where they are going. It's a clear-cut relationship between your sales performance and how the market is behaving. You need to create that correlation, whether my sales trends are matching with the market conditions or not. So that is, we called it as regression analysis, right? So that sometimes we miss doing that. If we do that, you will get to know that whether my reps are just increasing the inventory days, or is it really the prescriptions are happening in the market, right? That will come from your regression analysis. Now, these are the points which I told you for quantitative analysis. Now, what is for qualitative analysis? That is again a very important piece of doing the targeting. Now, I do a lot of, targeting basis my, scientific evidences, or maybe, the supporting data. Now, when I see you go to the, now today, 10 years back when I was doing marketing, these all tools were not available. But today, in the public domain, patients are putting reviews of any medicine in the e-pharmacy channels. If you see any of the e-pharmacy website, you will see a customer feedback review section there. You select a medicine, right? And you will see a customer review, patient review section there. You will see a lot of, insights from there. Patients are giving a critical feedback about your own product, which you are claiming that it is having no side effects. And people are putting complaints there for your side effects, right? That is a real-time feedbacks. What your end consumer is feeling about your, product, You need to be better prepared for that. And that is what I'm talking about, the qualitative analysis. So qualitative analysis ke liye, you have to go for information available in public domain, information available in social media sites, information available by the influencers, or they are putting in any, in their, PubMed or something like that, right? So these all things will give you a lot of understanding about your patient reviews, and also about, for your doctors and for your end customer, you have to do a sentiment analysis. That is again a part of qualitative analysis. Now sentiment analysis gives a clear feedback. Okay, I have given your medicine to 10 patients, but I'm not finding the results as per the expected which you were claiming while coming to me and promoting your product. That's where you will get the real feedback, Ashish. So that comes from your, maybe your field works, that comes from, primary research, that comes from the market research agencies whom you hire. So those qualitative analysis also plays a very important role. That okay, in corporate hospital, pharmacy is my issue, or what is the issues, what are the need gaps analysis. So these quantitative, I know that this is a potential of the pharmacy of 100 corporate hospital, but qualitatively, what are their need gaps, what I have to target, what are their personas. We need to identify that. And then I need to target those sentiments which can actually turn up in my favor. That is something which is called real targeting in brand planning exercise.
Perfect. Perfect. I think you have really given a new dimension to all of us in terms of reading the patient reviews across the social media platforms, which I doubt many of the pharma marketeers will probably look at it. And you have also talked about the SWOT analysis, which is a critical component while you are actually trying to understand your brand. So with that, I would like to ask a question to all the participants. Have you done SWOT analysis for your brand? Yes, no, or you would like to do it on Monday? So please answer to us in the chat. And this, yes, Sohil says yes. And SWOT analysis is definitely an activity which gives you a reflection of where do you stand as a brand. Vikram says yes. Ajay says yes. Yes. So a lot of people are talking about they do SWOT analysis of the brand, but there are various things which Jasmeet has talked to us today with regard to hearing patient reviews of your particular brand, of your competitor's brand. And this will really be a blessing for you in terms of defining your next level strategies. So with that, I would like to ask the second question to Jasmeet. What role does data farming play in solving targeting challenges? So you have markets, you have patients, doctors, trade partners whom you would like to target for your respective brands. So you have data currently in place. So how exactly is data farming helping you? And there is a very interesting question which is coming up in the chat, which I would like you to also take it up while you are answering this question. So Aman Gupta, he is working in Mumbai. He is handling pediatric and gynecology as a portfolio. And he observes that some marketing activities which are driven from head office are not as effective in metros like Mumbai, but work very well in secondary towns. As you talked about, customer personas are very different, and how they take your campaigns is very different from what exactly people take it up in metros. So he's asking, don't you think brand planning should differ for metros? If yes, why is it not reflected on the ground? So is it possible for pharma marketeers to have different strategies or campaigns across different locations for the single brand? So you have been associated with a lot of power brands. So have you defined campaigns based on the locations, or you say that, yes, this is a brand plan, this is a campaign which I would like to run all over India, be it metros, B class, C class. This is a common strategy that I would like to run. Jasmeet, over to you. Please give us insights based on your experience.
Sure, sure. So I'll say this into a different context altogether. Say in my experience when I was handling power brands, leader brands, of course that is the Aman is asking a very right question. As I said, spray and pray doesn't work. I clearly told that very clearly. Spray and pray doesn't work. I do, one strategy, one size doesn't fit all. We have learned all these over a period of time. Metros is always been a challenging, area, or been a challenging, ground to be handled by a marketeer. Few marketeers do really well. I'll tell you in some context, Ashish, that there's nothing big you have to do in that something. It's a fundamentals. You have to make your different offerings for cohorts, for urban, for metros, for non-metros, for rural. Do the pilot testing. That will really give you a lot of insights. Again, I'm telling you, I'm going with Aman what he's saying. I can relate the sentiments, right? Because it happens. This happens most of the time, Ashish, that we believe that what brand plan we have made will definitely gonna work for my 300 reps. Doesn't work. Doesn't work. You have to involve and you have to take the perspective of metro guy who is actually for Mumbai guys. I have seen that working with Mumbai. For doing 5 calls, he has to do from one local to another local, and he has to come back to that area, and then his 5 calls, it means 7 hours of working, only 5 calls, and then we rate it on the processes, right? So I know the challenges of metros, and particularly for Mumbai. Coming to the activities part, I mean, from the growth potential part, I think what he should be suggesting to their marketeers, or maybe if he's a marketeer, then definitely he should be implementing that. Make your different offerings for at least at a broader level segmentation. You do for metros, for non-metros. Some offering which will work for metros, some offering which will work for non-metros. And if that assumption should be coming that which activities to choose, make a kind of a expert panel group discussion, pre-expert group discussion with your customers, core customers, which should be a mix of prescribers, non-prescribers, both from metros, and then another meeting for non-metros, mix of prescribers and non-prescribers. Ask a simple one question. These are my offerings. Whether this will help into building your clinical practice or not. If my rep will coming and offering you, whether it will help into your clinic or not. I am telling you, you will get 100 of ideas which they will give you only. 10 people sitting in that room, will give you 100 ideas which will, which will not be there in your brand planning exercise. Because these are the people, these are the doctors who will give you real insights here. Yeah, you are coming up with a lot of, these activities, but I'm not interested in doing that. I'll tell you, Ashish, in some cases, we do push a lot of camps kar lo, doctors ke saath. भाई उसके पास 100 की ओपीडी है डेली की, कैंप करने का टाइम किधर है उसके पास, जगह नहीं है उसकी क्लिनिक में बैठने के लिए. Where you will do camp? And we are telling a Mumbai guy to do the camp. So it doesn't work like that way. So my offering has to be very customized. It boils down to the approach which I told initially in your previous question, Ashish, in N is equal to 1 approach. You have to go at an individualized level, and then you have to bring your offerings. Then only it will work, right? So answering to your second question, Ashish, that what role does data farming play in solving the target challenges? I think broadly, I have seen the targeting challenge come from this ambiguity of difference between segmentation and targeting only. But I think a component which we should definitely analyze while doing the data interpretation, mapping the competition landscape, because that is also a very critical factor. Because when understanding of the data comes, who is a good marketeer, he will go into deep dive and he will find a pearl out of it from it. But what will happen if that pearl is also available? A better pearl is available with your competition, and your customer will buy that pearl, will not value your pearl, right? So while doing the competition landscape, when you are doing a targeting exercise, you need to map your competition head to head, whether I am better than them or not, whether my offerings are better than them or not. And in targeting exercise, I should be very clear, where do I stand against them? Whether, whether if my offering, if this targeting customer, if I'll go and I will offer this, whether this will help to create an edge over my competition or not. Whether at the end of the year, I will be able to increase my market share or not. whether my brand perception will be better than my competition or not. These are the key questions, Ashish, a marketer should answer while doing exercise. And this is the biggest challenge in targeting exercise. With this data interpretation, the right, identifying the right soil, maybe, getting into the, internal and external data analysis, right? Doing the GDP analysis, or maybe, some market data analysis, prescription data, prescriber data. Today we are getting e-pharmacies data. Today we are getting EMR data, electronic medical records data. So today there is abundance of data which is available, and the market dynamics are changing rapidly. It's getting, consumer behavior is evolving just with the speed of light, right? So we need to catch that pace. We need to identify what are the trending in the market areas which is happening right now, at a understanding of the marketing landscape, which I talked about. One, second, how the market dynamics are changing. Market dynamics. So today, if you, when the brand planning which was targeting, which was done 5 years back, today that today post COVID, my brand planning exercise is not the same. I have to keep a portion of digital, omni-channel, and maybe e-pharmacy component there, because within this 21 to 23 period, there's a surge. There is a big surge, or the market has boomed up of e-pharmacies like anything. The adoption of digital has gone up like anything. The other day I was reading one article: 60% of the practitioner prefer to give us a email communication rather than having a physical meet. The importance of physical meeting is coming down today. We have seen the global markets also. Global market, there's no very less practitioner meets the reps. It's purely omni-channel completely. You give me the reminder on the mails. So that's what the trend is changing today. Dynamics are changing in India also. So we have to catch that pace. So two things, big challenges. One, which I said, that understanding the overall market dynamics, mapping the competition landscape. That is point number one. Point number two, to identify the customer needs with the rapid changing environment today. So e-pharmacy is booming up, omni-channel booming up. I cannot put a conventional promo today, or a split of promo having only CAMs, clinics, CMEs, RTMs. That's it. My promo is done. No, you have to keep a components of virtual reps also. You have to park the budget at least 20% for that matter. You have to park the 20% for virtual reps. The other day I was discussing with one of the marketeer, brilliant idea he was giving. Okay, why we cannot use the email, like platform like Medgini only for, doing the messaging in the backend headquarters. Why that message cannot become a virtual reminder if my rep is not there in the backend headquarters? Brilliant idea. Why not? Until the time that vacancy gets filled up, that daily one message daily, which you were sending for this webinar, one message daily to that doctor can become the reminder for a message for a doctor. Virtual rep concept. So that omni-channel concept is, emerging very well in India today now, Ashish. So my rep is one of the channels. That is not the only channel today. 5 years back, the story was different. So it's a revolution which is happening in pharma industry. So these are the 2 points which I want to address, Ashish, in this, how we can overcome these 2 challenges particularly, and then we can make the effective segmentation and targeting while doing the brand planning exercise.
Perfect. I think a very big point which we have talked about in terms of omni-channel communication. So you have set up a system in your previous organization, and which was very much accepted during COVID times, where you have actually set up a framework which was not being done in the past in that particular organization. And you were there in the vaccine business, and then you were in charge of setting up this omni-channel communication for your stakeholders, and you have done it beautifully. And you have realized the importance of having a virtual rep, which was never here or probably believed before the COVID times. And you talked about competition landscape mapping. So with that, participants, I would like to hear from you. Have you done your competition landscape mapping? Please answer yes or no in the chat. And then we would like to proceed with our next important area. We're talking about positioning. And in positioning, we have one question. And there is interesting, yes, a lot of people says they have done competition landscape mapping. And there are very interesting questions which are coming up. We will park this immediately after the webinar ends up. And here we are moving towards the next part, which is positioning, right? So we are talking about data, which is coming across various sources, and data-driven decision identify the right audience and the needs, ensuring the product fits the market perfectly. So you have identified what exactly are the markets. You have identified in the market who are the people in which you would like to target. And now that you have identified, so what exactly should be your strategies is what we would like to discuss here in the positioning segment. So, a question to you, Jasmeet. How does data-driven decision making help position the products effectively to the right markets? So we have discussed about this. If you can probably give a real-time example to us, if the data is confidential, we can leave it aside. But if you can please give us an example which will be able to useful for the pharma marketeers to relate. How does data-driven decision making help position the products effectively in the right markets?
Sure.
Yeah.
Thanks. I think Ashish, positioning the other out of your all three subjects, the topics which we are discussing today, segmentation and targeting is for internal and backend. I think the biggest and the important piece which goes to the external world, to my end consumer and customer, is the positioning, because that is what you are communicating outside the world to your end consumer, and which plays a very big role. I'm sure many of you know the basic of definition, MBA textbook definition of positioning. It's purely about, what is the mind space, mind share you want to take it, or you want to register in your end consumer's mind. What is that space you want to create, and what is that where you want to position your brand? What is the perceived value of the brand you want to position in the minds of your end consumer? That is a positioning. I think every segment, when you are doing in the rapid changing environment, we have discussed a lot about targeting and position segmentation in different cohorts. Positioning has to be very customized to that particular targeted group. Again, cannot go spray and pray, right? My communication positioning is related to your communication. Wherever you are positioning your brand, right? What you want your brand to be perceived in the mind of the end consumer is completely your positioning, right? So if I need to, put it in that way, giving a real-time examples, Maggie, it's a 2-minute noodle, right? They have positioned themselves for 2 minutes. Maybe it takes 3 minutes or 4 minutes to get cooked, right? But that is the mind share which they have taken for the end consumer. That is a 2-minute noodle, right? That is what we are talking. Okay, whatever the target segments you are targeting, the positioning plays a very important role, because that goes in the head of your end consumer. And whatever you are communicating, whether it is resonating with my need, whether it is addressing my need or not, that is another story, right? So the key differentiation, which is creating an edge over your competition, your competitive brands, that will create the positioning of your brand in the market. You cannot go and expect, if I am creating a Me Too communication and that will work well, and patient doesn't remember your brand. Believe me, if in the lines of 2-minute noodles, if anyone will create, Safola ka oodles will create a communication, right? That it's a 3 minutes noodles. The benefit will go always to a leader, because that has already created that space in his mind. I'm just putting an example to this, but only what I'm trying to communicate here is the key differentiation you have to create for your each segment. So if I'm creating a segment in pharma context, say for example, if I'm creating a segment for a pharmacist, for my KOL, which is key opinion leader, my key business leader, my partial prescriber, my competition prescriber, my communication positioning has to be different for each. Whatever I am communicating to my loyal prescriber cannot be the same to my competitive prescriber. So I'll give you one classical example of pharma. We were doing, in my previous stint, I was doing one market research. Now one statement in that market research came from one of the doctor that your product, Jasmeet, not to me but that agency who was, so he given that interview And in that, he said one line which came into our final presentation, that one of the doctors said in the comments that your product doesn't lead to hyperglycemia. It also doesn't lead to hypoglycemia. In For a normal language, I'll tell you hyperglycemia stands for high blood sugar levels, and hypoglycemia stands for low blood sugar levels, right? So what is said that your brand doesn't lead a patient to hyperglycemia. It also protects patient to fall into hypoglycemia. Your brand stands for euglycemia. Now, what is euglycemia? It stands for normal blood sugar levels. Now, there are three stages of diabetes में glycemic levels. One is hyperglycemia, one is euglycemia, one is hypoglycemia. Hyperglycemia is high blood sugar levels, euglycemia is normal blood sugar levels, and hypoglycemia is low blood sugar levels. So he clearly in the interview, in that market research, he said that, yeah, Jasmeet, your brand doesn't allow patient to keep into hyperglycemia and also protects my patient to fall into hypoglycemia. Your brand brings your patient back from hypoglycemia to euglycemia. Now that becomes a positioning. You understand, these kind of insight come from market research. Now today, this positioning has created a lot of big share in the mind that this brand has created a differentiation, that this protects a patient, falling into hypoglycemia, and protect patient to lead to a hyperglycemia level. It brings the patient back into their normal blood sugar levels. I don't want to put the name of the brand here, but definitely that has created an impact. Beyond that, we have done, the paper research, a lot of things we have done, CMEs, RTM, and that I'll tell you, by the top KOLs, this concept has been, taken really well, and that brand has become, the leader in that category.
Okay.
It has added crores within couple of years' time, big crores, right? So I am saying this is the power of your right positioning, and right positioning come from the basics. You have to do the data churning, data farming. You have to come up with the right targeting. You have to draw a hypothesis out of it. Hypothesis 1, hypothesis 2, hypothesis 3. And do the acid testing of that hypothesis with your end consumers, end customers, via help of your market research, by doing field works, by doing interactions. You will get to know these kind of insights. And then the last step comes is your positioning. Then you position your brand, that my brand is this is the position which I want to create as a differentiator, which will be an edge over my competition, right? So understanding your target audience, that is first step, right? So what is my target audience look like? Like a 2-minute noodle. I'm targeting the bachelors, youngsters who don't have time from their studies. I will target those youth population who don't have time. 2 minutes mein your meal is ready. Have it, go. Second is, identifying the competition differentiation. How your brand is differentiating and coming over an edge to your competition, right? So example, Uber takes the faster pickups during the peak hours. That creates an edge over Ola. So you do a test run of Ola and Uber during, the peak hours. You will get the faster rides of Uber compared to Ola. Dynamically, they customize it, and they rapidly you will get the cabs during that peak hours. That's the customized offering versus competition. That's a real-time example. Don't go into how much is Android and how much is iPhone. I know that's trending also, right? But do that only, that whether I'm getting a faster cab from which platform, that you can get it. Now, aligning with the market dynamics. Now, my positioning of the portfolio can be different in e-pharmacy platforms and into my real world scenario to my trade customers. You are going with the market dynamics. That is something which we can also create. Last but not the least, where my ROI is better of my marketing efforts, where I should be, investing more. That is something I need to create a positioning out of it. Say, for example, I am doing a lot of investment. What, Aman was asking a few minutes back, urban metros mein this strategy doesn't work. What about that promo? Promo to gone for a toss, if that strategy is not working. So positioning for metros can be a different. If I do a acid testing there, my positioning can be different. My offering can be different. Basis my positioning, my offering can be different for the metros, guys. That strategy will work. Omni-channel is that only. If you understand the difference between a multi-channel marketing and a omni-channel marketing, the difference is very simple. Multi-channel mein you will get different message from multiple channels. Omni-channel is one single message from all the channels. That is omni-channel. So if you book a Goa trip for 2 nights in Goa Ibibo or Make My Trip, you will get the same deal offering on your WhatsApp. You will get a message out of it. You will get a email out of it. You will get a on Instagram page you will get an ad out of it. Goa Ibibo, Make My Trip. You will get a Facebook when you will open a Facebook. It has added your cookies and it had captured your Android, and you will find that the same message is coming across. That is omnichannel. Now that is very individualized. So positioning plays a very important role in this hyper competitive world, guys. You need to be very customized. You have to go with the n is equal to 1 approach. Your overall campaign can be one, but the individualized experience has to be different. I want that this guy should talk to me only on emails. I don't have time to give his reps. Then the right channel is email only, because he will respond you better. I don't want to disturb digital platforms to me. This I am okay. He should come once in a week. I am okay meeting that. Physical visit. Fine. Done. So there are different dynamics today is changing. You have to position your brand accordingly. E-pharmacies are booming up. Your buying is happening, cross-channel, cross-selling is happening. A lot of things are happening in the market in pharma today, post-COVID particularly. So you need to understand that market dynamics and then accordingly act on it. So yeah, that's it, Ashish.
You have given a step-by-step approach to all of us. You have given relevant example outside the pharma in terms of how people are targeting customers while they are requesting something, and how this particular target audience are being connected across various channels. So this is how something pharma marketeers can definitely try, because the cost of actually a meeting of a medical rep with a doctor is very high compared to what you are using other channels, be it digital communication, email marketing, or WhatsApp communication. This is something which pharma marketeers can really try out, and this gives an impact. And with that, we have the second contest for our participants. What factors plays a biggest role in ensuring a successful data-driven targeting strategy? You have the opportunity to win a 500 rupees Amazon voucher. Please scan the QR code. If not, please click on the link which is put by my team in the chat. And yeah, so please, if you're done, please type in done. And Jasmeet, there is a lot of appreciation which is coming from Mr. Manoj in the way you have explained and simplified the omni-channel communication. The Go Vivo example was really mind-blowing for us, which we can definitely relate, because this is what we have been using on our day-to-day life for travel. And this is amazing. And pharma companies are definitely working out seriously about the omni-channel communication. Large companies have done that, and some companies have also realized that this is becoming important for them. In advanced countries like Australia, where it is very important that the rep meets the doctor once in 6 months. So there are protocols which are already set by the HCPs towards the pharma companies that you can meet me once in 6 months. All other communication can come to my inbox, is something which we have learned, and days are not far away that we may see this kind of approach building up, because a lot of young doctors who are coming into picture, they are tech savvy. The existing doctors are also very tech savvy. People are using technology, they want to save time, and companies would also like to rationalize their marketing budgets. With that intention, people are adapting to digital. And if you're done with the submission, please type in done. Manoj, Sohail, thank you so much for your participation. With that, we would like to next move in terms of feedback of the current webinar. Please give in your feedback of the webinar. This helps us to improve and give quality content to you. It is also important for us to get great speakers like Jasmeet, who comes with the experience, who can help us in a direction of doing things better. So please give in your particular feedback. The feedback link is also shared. Yes, I would request my team to give a link for the feedback. Yeah, thank you so much. So please give in the feedback. The feedback really matters to us. And we have been doing this consistently since January 2024. So this is the 13th webinar. We have saved conversations of all the webinar that we have done in our YouTube channel. We can also share the same. Please go through that. I hope this will be of use to all of you. And these has been our speakers who have been from the industry, straight from MacLeod's to Alembic, Cipla, Lupin, Medley, Mankind. People from various walks of life have been part of this particular initiative, which we have taken from Medgini. Thank you so much for being with us today. A little bit about Medgini. Medgini, we have started off in 2012. We specialize in pharma marketing services, and this helps pharma companies in terms of connecting to their target audience. Connecting to the target audience for pharma companies, we have services like awareness, availability, and visibility IT services. For chemists, we have the largest reach of India, which is a verified reach of 5.68 lakhs chemists across India. We have various payout programs to the chemist, which are compliant to UCPMP. We do merchandising services, which is visibility services for the chemist. We have the largest reach of doctors cutting across various specialties, which is around 5.5 lakhs. We also provide an online platform for doctors for organizing webinars as well as CME programs. We also offer chatbot solution for doctors and do a digital marketing services for them. For patients, we have run patient support programs, health camps. This is how Medgini has been able to provide help to you. If you would like to connect with any of our representatives, please reach us out in our website, and our phone numbers will also be shared to you, and our team will be happy to connect with you. So we are present in Hyderabad, Mumbai, and Bangalore. And so this is a warm thank you from both of us, Jasmeet as well as myself. And this is my team who has worked at the back end to get you here today. And we are here to announce the winners for the contest. And I would request my team to share the winners who have responded the fastest. So I just see if the team is able to share me the winners. Yes. So the winners are here. The first question was answered fastest by Sohail. Sohail, if you're there with us, you can probably be on the spotlight. And the second was answered by Anusha. So please spotlight Sohail and Anusha if they are there with us. Congratulations, Sohail. Congratulations, Anusha.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. And thank you for being with us today. And there is one last question, Jasmeet, if your time permits, can we take it up? There is one question which is coming from Amit Jaiswal. He says that in a scenario where product falls under DPCO or sales shift heavily towards chain pharmacy or online platforms, which you have been talking about, without the sales team receiving due credit. So you would have seen this kind of situations coming in most of the time in your brand. What strategies can be implemented by the team to mitigate this threat and maintain the motivation? How can marketing and the sales team collaborate effectively to address such challenges? Because sales are happening from alternate channels. So it is not only the offline retail outlet, but also e-pharmacy is playing an important role. Chain pharmacy is also playing an important role. So how do you do that? Is there any practical solution to this problem?
There are two ways of doing it. Yeah, this is the, as I said, that Amit, it's a good question, and there are a couple of things, which you can definitely try. One, as I said, that start giving respect and importance to these channels. That is first of all the starting point to it, because most of the time we feel that the conventional marketing is the way of doing pharma business. No, it's not the case now. The e-channels are really booming up, and with my experience, I can tell you that over a period of next 5 to 10 years, they will be contributing 50% of your sales. That can be the scenario. Already they have started contributing well, right? Now, what I'm saying here, two things which you can do, which I also mentioned in my while explaining the segmentation. Be present, park your budgets, for presenting well at e-pharmacy channels. So you have to be there in the, I don't want to name the channels or the pharmacy, you know that very well, right? So be present there, put budgets there, because and talk to your pharmacy channels for giving customized offerings to your set of cohorts. I'm telling you, they can give you far better segmentation which you have not even imagined, and I've done that. You can go, you imagine a segment and they can give you in their e-pharmacy channel, and that's how sharp you can go with your segmentation targeting. Cross selling is open for everyone in e-pharmacies, that you can expect, right? Today, if any of us in our world also, if we want to take medicine for our family members, we go to those e-pharmacy channels. We also see that which medicine is giving a better offer. Why other patient will not do that, right? They will do it. So your role should be there, that how better you are placed in those e-pharmacies, how consistently you are giving commitment and business to those e-pharmacy channels. Second, you have to be promotional wise, you have to be at the peak if that budget allows to you. Be present at promotional level. I'll give you one example. One of the marketeer in my previous stint, he was handling one leader brand. One smart strategy, what he did, that you know the concept of rush hour, no? 1 hour concept. So he talked to that e-pharmacy channel. He said that in a 2 times in a week, I will drive 1 hour discount of 20% to my brand. And he smartly targeted top 5 competitive brands. So that rush hour notification message on WhatsApp went to those patients only who were buying the medicine of those top 5 channels. Now, sales credit, don't go into that. That is a sales parameter. As a marketeer, your role is to increase the visibility of your brand in e-pharmacies. Number 1. Number 2, you have your promotion and your strategy has to be very sharp in e-pharmacy and targeted towards your key segment. So you have already learned the importance of targeting. Go sharp with the targeting. The more sharper you are, I'm telling you with this experience of this example which I'm telling you, he ran that campaign for 3 months. In 2 times in a week, it means 8 days in a week, in a month, he liquidated the stock from e-pharmacies within the month, right? He got special orders from those e-pharmacies of those particular brands. It's just one example. Your team and you particularly can devise multiple ways of campaigning in e-pharmacies. And I'm telling you, again, adoption, adapt the change. They are very helpful. Go and talk to them. They will give you 10 ideas by which you can increase your sales. This sale credit will keep on happening because patients are very smart today. You cannot stop patients. If you will not tying up with them, it's a loss to you. It's not loss of a patient. So that's what I want to give 2 examples to that, Ashish.
Perfect example. I think this particular example which you have talked about, rush hour, is, I think, many of the people would have never ever thought about it. So there is one more question which is coming your way with regard to diabetes. As Ajay is asking that Jasmeet sir said that there is a lot of advancement in diabetic segment and all the companies are having Me Too products. For example, Empa is going off patent in months to come. So he has 2 questions for you. How to find the pearl market share out, and second is what to spray, the strategies to be opted in such cases, because in a short while this particular product will be going off patent. If you are a brand manager, pharma marketeer, what will be your thoughts, Jasmeet?
Okay, so how to find the pearl out? Dig out the data. That's the first starting point. That's what we have learned over an entire conversation. The more deeper you will go, the biggest pearl you will get it. Read the trends, read the scientific data. The biggest example, if I tell you, read the scientific benefits of empagliflozin over dapagliflozin. That's it. I have given your answer to the first question, right? So now what will happen? I'll tell you. It is getting off patent. 50 companies will launch their 50 products. 100 companies will enter. They will launch 100 products. What we will do in Me Too category, we will start working on share of voice, share of voice, share of voice. Dude, your empagliflozin is far better than dapagliflozin in scientific terms. And Dapagliflozin market is 1800 crores. Just target 5.5% share of that only. But this year, brand plan is done. What will happen? The market is dynamics, you know that very well. It's CRM based, right? So you have to, that pearl is science. See, pharma may, and this is for everyone, pharma is driven on science, it will drive on science. Nothing can replace science. The more sharper your science is, doctor will always love to hear science. See, understand, the practitioner who is reading science from last 35 to 40 years, nothing big thing he can love than more than science. If you will talk science, he will love science. Other things comes as an add-on, which you can give and 100 companies can give. But what you will talk on science will create a differentiation in his mind. 100 companies are talking brand, but he's the one who's talking the real benefits. So that is the answer to your first question. When you're talking spray, what strategies? Spray, as I said, will not work. It will just consume your promo. And at the end of the, 6 months from now, you will realize your spray is not working. My entire conversation is on the avoiding spray. So spray cannot be the strategy. So these two words in your one statement itself shows that spray cannot be a strategy. Spray is not equal to strategy. Your strategy should be n is equal to 1. So create a segments, identify the right segments, do the competition landscape mapping. EMPA mein who are the innovators, who are the leaders, take share from them. That's the biggest segment you can create. In that segment also, what you need to target, that is something you need to understand. So EMPA mein leader itself is one of the, innovator itself is one of the segment. Now in that segment, what you want to target is your strength and weakness of that SWOT. So targeting comes from the SWOT analysis, but segment comes from the market which you are targeting.
I think great. You have simplified this for us, and with that we come to an end. Jasmeet, if we have the permission to share your email ID, there are certain people who would like to connect with you on a email level, and they would like to have some guidance, and we will be allowed to share your email ID if you allow us to do that.
I'll share you my other email ID, Ashish, which you can
Sure.
share with them.
Sure, definitely. We will send this email ID of Jasmeet to all of you, and please connect to us on LinkedIn. We are available on the social media platforms, and we'll be happy to announce the next webinar. And this particular ebook, as I promised, will be given to all the participants by Monday or Tuesday, and the winners of this particular contest will also be getting this particular voucher to your SMS or WhatsApp. Thank you so much for being with us today. Jasmeet, I have learned a lot being with you today in this particular webinar, and would happy to connect with you in future.
Sure, Ashish. It's indeed the pleasure is the same from my side too. And I think thanks to all of you. I think from the weekend morning, you came for a learning. I think, and this is the right time of these sessions, I think, because we are all into the brand planning exercise. Anyone would like to connect to take the guidance, I'm always there. Don't worry on that part. So maybe Ashish can help you in that, right? So be in touch, right? So thank you so much, folks. All the best.
Thank you, sir. See you soon.
See you.